This is Professor Denholtz, and I'm going to be reviewing how to do problem 4 in Lab 1. All right, so this is what we're trying to do. This can be done with lines and circles exclusively. And each one of these circles is positioned on the midpoint of the dashed lines. Now, you do not need the dashed lines. You do not need to include them in your lab. I would probably make them with construction lines, the way that we did in problem 3, where we created the line and then we just dropped a circle there, and then from there we just deleted the line. Now here, this is more of that 2x thing I talked about, especially used in symmetry, and this is all symmetric. It's symmetric along the vertical center. And we can see that there's a 2x of this length, which tells me that this is also going to be 2.5. We can see that there's a 2x showing the angle from this line to the horizontal as 45 degrees. That tells me that that's also the angle that we see here. We see a 2x of 2.5 over here. That tells me that this is also going to be 2.5. We also see the 2x 2.5 over here, and so again, I'm going to infer that the 2x is used for symmetry, meaning that this is going to be 2.5 in length, and that this angle from the horizontal downwards to this line is 30 degrees. That tells me we're going to see that over here also. So it's basically all symmetric. There's multiple ways to do this. You could use the mirror command. I'm not going to. I'm just going to use it with the commands given over here, so basically lines and circles. I'm going to start by doing the exterior. And when I start the exterior, I'm going to start at either this corner or this corner. Now, the reason why is that we're not given this length. And so I'd rather start at one, go all the way around, and then when I get here, just connect it with a horizontal line. That prevents me from having to do any significant calculations to figuring out the length. Then once I get there, then I'm going to add in the circles. So if I start over here, I'm going to make a line that is 2x, that's 2.5 in length, and it's going downwards by 45 degrees, or is up 45 degrees from the horizontal. So let's do that. So we want to have our dynamic input on again, and I'm going to click wherever I want to start, and I'm going to type in the 2.5, which is our length, and this time though I'm going to hit tab. Now when you hit tab, it usually allows you to put in an angle, which is exactly what I want. See, there's a little like padlock symbol next to the 2.5. When I hit the tab, it's saying that the 2.5 stays constant, and now I can adjust the angle. Now I can also see from this dotted line over here that they're measuring it from the positive x-axis, so an axis moving horizontally to the right. Now if I were to draw a line that comes from here to here, from the positive x-axis, which let's imagine is this horizontal line, what would the angle be if it's 45 degrees at this corner? So this is a little bit of a mathematical question, but let's or a trigonometric question. I could say that it looks about 45 degrees here, right? Well, that's correct. It should actually be 135 degrees over here. And so 135, enter, and we have that value in. And the next one, we're going to come up by 2.5, but let me go back to the angle. So here, this is 45 degrees. And so we know that if we were to come down to the left from this line and then go straight out to the right, that this corner would be 45 degrees. But here, they want it to measure from here to here. Now, due to opposite interiors, which is something you would probably know from a pre-calculus course, the interiors so if there's a horizontal line coming out here, are going to match for parallel lines. So you would have 45 degrees here, and 45 degrees here, and 180 minus 45 is where you get the 135. Now, if any of that didn't make sense, then I would definitely recommend speaking to me because you do need to know general Cartesian coordinate systems. It's actually not pre-calculus. I misspoke. That's more of the trig. This would be more of algebra, geometry, things like that. You should have the basic math skills. So please see me if any of that was a little bit confusing. All right, so continuing on, we're going to move up because we've drawn from here to here. We're going to move up by 2.5. So now I could turn ortho mode back on if I want, or I could just put in the exact angle. So 2.5 and turn ortho off. And now we want to go up at 2.5, hit tab. We want to put in an angle. And so here, let's see. So it's measuring from the horizontal. And so if this to this is 30 degrees, that means that the opposite interior is going to be the same. So it should be coming up at 30 degrees. Then we know we're going to go to the right by 2.5. So actually, let's put in 0 this time instead of ortho mode. So 2.5, tab, 0. That's the same thing, so it's a horizontal line. Now we're going to move down by 30 degrees for a line that's of length 2.5. So 2.5, comma 30, or tab, excuse me, tab 30. Then downwards, so it's going to be 2.5 tab 90, so 2.5 tab 90. Now note the actual angles that I'm using are depending on my mouse position. If you have a different mouse position, it might be a different angle, but you do need to look and see where they're measuring it from. So here, you could see that there's a dotted line going to the right. They're saying that they're measuring the angle from there. So just be aware of that. Then we're going to go 2.5 at, again, 135 degrees. So it should be 45 from the horizontal, from the negative x-axis, but they're measuring it from the positive x-axis. So 2.5 tab 135. And then we are just going to connect these lines. And you can see it's 180 degrees, which means we ended up at the same vertical position that we started with. All right, good. So we've started our drawing here. I'm just going to center it, make it a little bit bigger. Now, next, don't worry about drawing the dashed lines right now. I'm just going to draw lines connecting our various corners. But one thing is we want to use the object snap. So if you type in OS or OSnap, it'll take you to this screen. For this one, you want to make sure you have midpoint checked. This basically shows what you want your mouse to snap to. And these are usually the options that I like best, but you will definitely need midpoint for the way I'm doing it over here. So let's do that. Let's draw a connection from here to here, and a connection from here to here. And thankfully from the object snap, we should be able to snap to the middle of this line with a triangle and go down to this line over here. And now at the midpoint of each of them, we're going to drop a circle. And so we know it's at the midpoint because it says centered at the midpoint. And so we have two that are 0.5, and they give us this one is 1 in diameter. And so let's do that. Let's put in the center. So the triangle is going to be the center. Click down, and it's going to be 0.5 in diameter. We're going to repeat that over here. So 0.5 in diameter. And then over here, it is 1 in diameter. Now the last step would be to remove these construction lines. So click on them and delete them. And there you have it. That is problem 4 of Lab 1.